color bars at the top.
Okay. You guys ready? All right. Let's first of all, and you're just looking at me,
Yeah.
so real casual. First of all, just talk about why the decision, why Tide and PPI, what made them so attractive to Pontiac?
Well, first, we're very thrilled and excited about the new relationship between Pontiac and PPI Motorsports and Cal Wells and the number 32 Tide car. We were looking for the types of teams as we reestablished Pontiac's dominance in the sport that were like-minded and shared our commitment to winning, the individualism and uniqueness in the approach to business, and we thought it really matched up well with PPI Motorsports.
How critical is that for a manufacturer to have someone that they feel like that they get along with? That's something that people don't talk about very much.
Well, when you get to the caliber of the talent that PPI has, and you compare it to a lot of other good talent that's out there, what you want to do is you want to choose to work with the people that you like and have chemistry with, because you can get more accomplished that way.
Yeah. You obviously envision great success for PPI. What did you see within the race team, maybe within Ricky, that said, hey, this is our team, this is where we need to focus our energy?
Well, one of the things that we felt good about is that Ricky is kind of coming home, because he ran in the Busch North races in New England. He ran in the Pontiac, so it's kind of a 360 degrees for Ricky. But Ricky is a winner, and Ricky is a winner on and off the track, and that was very appealing to us at Pontiac.
Talk about Pontiac's level of commitment to PPI as a race team. I mean, you have a lot of race teams, but what's the level of commitment to PPI?
Well, I think the thing that we see with PPI is a team that is akin to some of the other teams that we work with, and have tremendous raw talent and capabilities that need support, technical support, and also resources, so we can kind of bring them to the next level. So we see that as a great growth opportunity. We have a history of doing that and bringing success on the track in terms of our approach and providing technical support and other resources in the marketplace. And that's what we see as a tremendous strength in working with PPI. And we also see PPI and the number 32 Tide car is immediately going to the top end of the food chain within the group of Pontiac Racing.
Yeah, you lost a couple teams, so how critical is it for you to get a good team, a solid team like this, to solidify what Pontiac's trying to accomplish in Winston Cup racing?
Well, we think it's very important for a number of reasons. Number one, we are committed to the long term for NASCAR Winston Cup racing. It's great business. The people that are involved in the sport and the growth of the sport, it's a great large-scale platform for us to use as we go and market Pontiac. The other thing that's important is we got a very important year next year with the launch of the new race car, but also that coincides at the Daytona 500, the launch of our new production car. And why that people at Tide should be interested in that is that we plan a lot of promotional activity. There'll be a lot of attention in the marketplace, and to the extent that that happens and works, it really creates more interest in the Tide racing program at the retailers. And that's the whole key to providing these resources so we can improve our on-track performances. To the extent that we do that, the entire Tide program works a lot better.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
That's good. If I'm a guy selling Tide, you talked about it briefly there. How does this help me? What does it mean to me that we switch to Pontiacs?
Well, I think number one, I think you have a partner that's going to be very committed. Like I say, the Tide car is at the top of the list of sponsors that we're going to be working and activating. What's nice about this is that there's such a great match in terms of the distribution of Tide, in terms of the retailers that you work with, and our dealer organization. So we see tremendous co-marketing opportunities. It's a matter of getting the program up and running, establishing some credibilities, and then we're going to work on the local level. So we get co-promotion going, and we get people going in between the retailers and the dealerships, and we put more money behind the Tide name, Tide Racing, and create more opportunities for activation. I think that's an important aspect, is it makes a terrific program even more powerful.
Obviously, this sport is all about winning. and that is the goal. I mean, is that when everybody truly does win? Is when this car gets into victory lane?
Well, I think it works a lot better. A lot of people ask, they ask me, Bob, is it still apply, win on Sunday and sell on Monday in the car business? That is a really antiquated thought. It doesn't work that way. You've got to, in terms of NASCAR, in terms of the changing landscape of it, you have to be there to sense and seize opportunities. Mm-hmm. You have to be there for the long term. Pontiac re-entered Winston Cup racing in 1981. We call that the modern era. Mm-hmm. And things have changed a lot over that period of 20 some odd years. We've been there very consistently, activating programs. There are some years where we've done better than others, but we do have a great track record of success of putting our sponsors' cars in the winning circle and working with teams that have talent and capability, and then matching that up with the resources that General Motors and Pontiac provides. So the answer, long answer to a very short, good question, is that really you just got to stay committed, and things will come and things will happen. Take advantages of opportunities that come in the marketplace, and we will be there with Pontiac in the winner's circle. I'm confident.
There's a lot of exciting things going on at Pontiac, the new car, and adding teams like this. Describe Pontiac's level of excitement going into next year with a new, specifically PPI.
Well, we're absolutely thrilled. Just to comment, because I think people are probably interested in hearing about the Joe Gibbs situation, is Joe Gibbs came to us, a one-car team, and really within 3 years became one of the most winningest teams in NASCAR Winston Cup racing, and that was with our support and the cooperation and the partnership. We see that as kind of a model behavior. The people of Pontiac actually have used that situation in terms of Joe moving on, and we're pleased that he's staying within the GM family. But we see this as a wonderful opportunity to look at the business differently and use that as a way to reinvigorate a lot of our racing programs, the energy behind them, and a lot of our marketing efforts. So a lot of people look at this as, oh boy, look at what happened. We see this as, hey, this is an opportunity. This isn't anything that's bad. And we're very thrilled and excited about getting PPI in here and the number 32 Tide cars. So it's all good when it comes to what's happening from our standpoint.
Good. Perfect.
Okay.
Very good, Bob. Excellent.
Rolling bars right now. If you want to get a test count, you can.
Let's count 10 count.
10, 9, 8,
Unfortunately, we'll
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I still gonna make that noise no matter what we do.
That's the refrigerator you're right now.
Yeah, this is the computer. That's alright, it's not making that bad of a noise. Nothing that will bother us. You ready?
I am ready.
Okay, speed. Alright, let's first of all talk about, from your point of view, why Pontiac? Why the switch?
My responsibilities to Tide, my responsibilities to my company, PPI Motorsports, is to put together the most effective alliances possible, moving our Tide 32 up into the winner's circle, not every once in a while, but on a regular basis. For me to get that done, I just felt that Pontiac was going to be head and shoulders above any other opportunity that's ever presented itself to our company or to the Tide 32. Very, very, very excited about the engineering resources, the development capability that General Motors has, particularly the Pontiac brand, and the fact that we're going to be their lead horse as they go into 2003. A lot of that type of focus, which just wasn't possible to get with other manufacturers, is going to help us not only get in the winner's circle once, but I believe several times.
That's great on paper, but it puts a lot of pressure on you for them to say, hey, you're our guy, so we expect X.
Yes, it does. But I think we operate, racing's a very green flag, checkered flag mentality. You can't phone it in late, you can't make the delivery late, you can't say, well, we're going to be one day late, we'll be there on Monday. Mm-hmm. When the green flag drops, you've got to be ready to go. And I think everybody at PPI understands that. They all operate well under that type of pressure. But most of the pressure we operate under is self-induced. We want to win races because we want to win them for ourselves. We want to win them for Tide. Mm-hmm. And we believe that Pontiac is going to be a fantastic tool in helping us get there. And if we do have any challenges, they'll be right there to help us beyond their existing commitment, but they're going to ensure that we don't fail. And that opportunity that they're providing is really going to be golden as you look at the long-range plans of the program. You know, we just celebrated Tide's 15th year in Winston Cup, and Ricky Craven and Darrell Waltrip had quite an event at Indy. And when you look at Tide's racing historically, one of the cornerstones of their success in the marketplace and on moving soap, on selling soap, has been their performance on the racetrack. And it's incumbent on me to make sure I have all the pieces of the puzzle in place to do the same thing. And our alliance with Pontiac will really be the next significant evolutionary step for PPI Motorsports, which will help us put Tide where they belong on a week-in, week-out basis, which is competing in the top 10, top 5 in race victories.
How critical is it for a team owner to have consistent and reliable manufacturer support, you know, that you know is good and that you always can trust will be there?
Critical. I've had the good fortune to work with a number of manufacturers over my 20-plus years in the sport, 20 years as a business owner with PPI. And my best results on the racetrack have been from solid manufacturer relationships. I had one that lasted for almost 20 years in off-road racing and IndyCar racing, and we had a tremendous amount of success because they were there to provide resources that an independent team owner just really can't afford. It's very, very tough to gather. So if you look at what's happening in Winston Cup right now with the other manufacturers and the success that they're garnering is in the teams and the success that they're earning, and they all work very, very hard for it. All of us work as hard as you possibly can. So it's the other resources you can put together that make it happen. The teams that are successful are the ones that have that real focus from a manufacturer, and having the kind of commitment that Pontiac's provided is really, really going to make that difference. I believe that will put us on par or above the bar with the other super teams within the sport.
And doing something like this is not an easy process either for a car owner. What are the challenges you face in the process of changing over, especially over the winter, of getting everything ready and things like that?
Well, you know, there's challenges, but you know, are there problems or are they unsolved opportunities? I mean, from my perspective, there's tremendous opportunity with this changeover. The Pontiac shape is very exciting. It provides a lot of opportunity to solve some opportunities that we haven't been able to with our current marquee, and just the basic fundamental shape of the Grand Prix. In addition, NASCAR's made a series of rule changes that are going to require most everyone in the garage area to cut all their cars up with the body location. That means where the body sits on the tires, forward and aft, is going to be locked in for next year. And none of our current fleet meet that rule, nor do they with most of the other teams. So the opportunity is we've got a partner that's going to focus their development on our team while everybody in the garage is really having to go clean sheet of paper. All their aerodynamic information, all of their setup packages for the racetracks next year are going to have to be modified based on these new aerodynamic rules. There's no better time to start an alliance with Pontiac than right now because of that very opportunity, where we're not the only one they're going to be cutting cars up. If you look at, we were doing a few numbers the other day, and even before this new body location rule, we were figuring there was going to be about 500 cars between the Richard Childress racings and the Joe Gibbs racings and the Hendrick racings. They're going to have to be cut up. Now, when you add the fleets of Yates and Penske and Roush, and there's going to be a lot of people working hard. Body hangers are going to be hard to find. Fortunately, we've got a real good group, and we're going to be able to take this opportunity that Pontiac is providing and really step up our program, homogenize our fleet. So there are challenges, yes, but not any greater than the rest of the teams are facing. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to, with this partner, to really make a significant step forward.
When does the research begin? When does the effort to find out how to make the 2003 Grand Prix fast begin?
Well, I think the research has already begun. The big waypoint for us, NASCAR will be coming out with other rules, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And once we understand the true impact of the aerodynamic rules. In other words, once they're print them and we can say, okay, these are golden, we can build, that's when it really starts. So, but we're down to business now. We've scheduled our wind tunnel development time. We've put together a new body hanging system within the company so that we can kick the cars out in a more cookie cutter fashion. Once we develop a really aerodynamically efficient race car, we can replicate those very quickly. So I think we've got the pieces in place to take the time to develop properly, and then once we're comfortable, we can punch them out real quickly. And I think we're well positioned for this opportunity.
If I'm a guy who sells Tide to a grocery store, why does this mean anything to me? How is this going to help me, push Tide more?
Well, racing has been a cornerstone of Tide's marketing for 15 years.
Yeah.
The opportunity to work with a manufacturer that really engages on the retailer level and on a national level simultaneously is huge. The fact that we're going to be the focused team for Pontiac and that their marketing dollars are going to be focused on the Tide 32. Now the Pontiac Tide 32, in their words, that's going to be huge. National advertising and then again local advertising, how they can, the potential to work with local dealer groups, it's going to be massive, massive. The other side of it, and selfishly speaking, when the race team runs better, I think that it'll make the general public more desirous to come see the show cars, the show car program, and to interact with the most efficient and effective show car program in the history of the sport. So at all levels, I believe this is going to be a real asset, another very strong tool in the toolbox to move Tide product.
Now, you've been in this game just long enough for this team to bust out and do something great. Is this the catalyst to do something along those lines, you think, Cal?
I believe it's another very, very important stepping stone. The racing has ebb and flows. It's like the ocean. It's going to swell and go up and down and up and down. The key is being able to react to the state of competition. And this is going to be short term. I'm sure there'll be some stumbles here and there, but over the long term, I just can't imagine a better opportunity to really put Tide where they belong.
Excellent.
Which is in the winner's circle.
Good stuff.
Does that work, Kirby? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Very good stuff, Cal. As always. All right, AC.
Hello.
Sound good. Get the air conditioner again or do?
Turn it off. It's okay if I turn it off?
No problem.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about why Pontiac for PPI. What differences, to the guy who's selling Tide, what difference is it going to make to him?
Well, it's fresh. It's got a lot of momentum and excitement behind it. First of all, in 2003, it's going to be a brand new Pontiac. It's something that nobody's seen, and we're going to introduce it to the racetrack, which is going to be exciting for us. It's going to be a boost to the team from the business aspect. I know Cal's made a very good decision. They've made us the premier team. We're at the head of the class. And I think that it's the same view that the sales staff needs to take, is that by teaming with Pontiac, we've been put at the head of the class for that particular brand. And as goes Pontiac, so goes Tide, so goes PPI Racing. As opposed to being fourth or fifth in line with another manufacturer, and that should pay off. I think that's going to pay dividends for us on the racetrack. It should pay off the racetrack.
How important, why is it important to be the number one head honcho of a manufacturer?
It's just amazing how far this sport has come technically, and I think the biggest impact that it will have with PPI Motorsports and the Tide Racing team is that the group of engineers back in Hickory are going to be up to their neck in opportunity. So we should have a better race car. We should have the best Pontiac on the racetrack. We should have a car that can contend for wins. And when you go right back to the very beginning, you say, how is this going to help everyone? Well, if we're running closer to the front, or if we are the front, then everybody wins, and it's going to obviously having the Tide logo, the Tide bullseye out front is our primary objective. This decision will help get us there.
Do you honestly feel like this will make this a better race team?
I know that from the business side of things, Cal was offered a great package, and again, the opportunity to go to the head of the class, that absolutely should have an effect on us as a race team. It should have a positive effect on how we perform on the racetrack.
For you, this is kind of a homecoming because you started your career in Pontiac back in the Busch
I
North
did,
days.
yeah. I started my NASCAR racing with a.
Yeah.
My NASCAR racing began in 1990 with a Pontiac Grand Prix, and that was a great year. We finished third in points, won Rookie of the Year. That was my introduction to NASCAR, and it's kind of neat that it's gone full circle.
Yeah.
Several years later, I'm back with Pontiac in a Grand Prix, and I'm hoping that the results are the same.
Do you feel that this is an exciting time for PPI? There's a lot of good things going on, with the brand and as well as the manufacturer.
It is. You have to think, how did we put ourselves in this position? Because it wasn't a draw from the hat. It wasn't random. Pontiac chose this team because they believe in what we have as a brand. They believe that we have potential, and that we'll be the right team to carry their logo and help bring Pontiac to the front. There's a great feeling of accomplishment, but also a great feeling of responsibility to be in that position, because we know that we're going to help evolve the new race car. The responsibility falls squarely on our shoulders to help get this car amongst the leaders, and we're going to do that with great focus. We're going to do it with a great plan on and off the racetrack. We need to execute. But we've got a good group of people behind us with Pontiac back in Michigan. The technical support, the financial support, it's all going to help us become a better race team.
It's great on paper to be the #1 race team and a manufacturer, but there's also a lot of pressure that comes with it, and you just talked about it a little bit. Is that, kind of a daunting task to be sort of the load to kind of be on you guys to make the manufacturer successful?
Yeah, well, I'd certainly rather be in the position we're in, where we've got that opportunity, as opposed to being on the flip side and saying, boy, I'd like to get that opportunity.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of pressure here, but boy, wouldn't I like to have that opportunity. Yeah, certainly. There's pressure because the expectations have changed. I know Pontiac will expect more of us. I certainly believe that the salespeople, their primary objective is to sell Tide, are going to expect more of us, because this is a transition for them. This is a difficult transition for them, where they're going to actually be making a complete changeover, a complete facelift of their show car program, and they're going to have to sell this to the people that help buy the product. So from that standpoint, we've got to deliver, and we've got to perform, and understand that we need to prove this to have been a great decision.
I know you don't have your crystal ball, but when is the stamp of success put on this move for you guys?
No, I think that you have to look at it from a trend, from a long-term perspective. Last year we were a top 25 team. This year we're a top 15 team. And next year we need to be a top 10 team. And you need to see that trend in the right direction, which we've got going now. We need to continue that. It doesn't get any easier. But it would be more difficult if we didn't have opportunities like what we have now. And that's how we have to look at it. The opportunity with Pontiac will help us become a better race team.
Cool.
That's
Terrific, I think.
killer.
Sounded like a bunch of bullshit to me, but you guys can do something.
That's perfect.
I've heard more bullshit in my life. AC.
AC.
Back on. Thanks for letting